welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs Podcast. We're on season 5. Hello, everybody. We're on episode number 19. Tonight's the Songs edition, which is all related to music, concerts, albums, tours, new releases. It's all music, and we'll have an album review. So, Andy, it's March 14th. Too bad there's no March Madness for music, but it might be on this episode.
I have no pie-related albums.
It's not. Today's Pie Day.
Not going there. And we're going a little out of our wheelhouse today. Usually we try to stay with the 80s, mostly rock and roll. We've gone country on some stuff and other things.
We've got a big, vast background.
Yes. This album we're talking about today was released in 1968.
Not a shocker. I'd like to have everyone take a look at this cover.
Yes. You can find there are two different genres in there. But this is the Mothers of Invention, Frank Zappa's band, and the album is "We're Only in It for the Money."
Lots of things. Now, are there hidden Easter eggs and things in this?
Oh, yes.
Okay, got it.
Well,
I can only imagine.
Yeah, the word Frank Zappa should stop right there and could just Frank Zappa. Okay, here we go. Mothers of Invention. Released March 4th, 1968. It's considered acid rock, psychedelic rock. 39 minutes and 15 seconds. One of the producers, Frank Zappa. Now, if you look this up on Wikipedia, it's listed as a Frank Zappa under his albums and also under Mothers of Invention. We're Only in It for the Money is what we're going with here. It's the third album by American rock band Mothers of Invention. Released March 4th, is the band's first two album efforts. It's a concept album. It satirizes left and right wing politics, particularly the hippie subculture, as well as the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band. It was conceived as a part of a project called No Commercial Potential, which produced 3 other albums. Lumpy Gravy, Cursing with Reuben and the Jets, and Uncle Meat. I've had to read this like 7 times to get through without laughing, so don't start, okay? You're going to make me lose
it. It's too much.
It's just Frank Zappa. What was some of the other things? Zappa stated, "It's all one album. All the material on the album is organically related, and if I had all the master tapes, I could take a razor blade, cut them apart, put them together again in a different order, and it would still make one piece of music." At the recording sessions, the Beatles released their acclaimed album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. In response to the album's release, Zappa decided to change the album's concept to parody the Beatles album. And because he felt the Beatles were insincere and, quote, only in it for the money, the Beatles were targeted as a symbol of Zappa's objections to the corporatization of youth culture. And the album served as a criticism of them and rock as a whole. What was the other one here? Zappa later stated in 1978, quote, Frank Zappa speaking here, quote, "Hippies were pretty stupid. The people involved in the process are very sensitive to criticism." Now, this is 1978 Frank Zappa, remember, so this is not a recent comment.
Okay.
They always take themselves too seriously. So somebody who impugns the process, whether it's a peace march or love beads or whatever it is, that person is the enemy and must be dealt with severely. So we come under a lot of criticism because we dared to suggest that perhaps what was going on was really stupid. I think the year 1978 can be switched with any year between 65 and yesterday on that one, in my opinion. Insert year here. Let's see. Where was the one? Okay. There's a song on here called Flower Punk, which is kind of a take on Hey Jude or Hey Joe. Um, Frank Zappa called Paul McCartney seeking permission to do a parody. McCartney told him that it was an issue for business managers, but Zappa responded that the artists themselves were supposed to tell business managers what to do. Nevertheless, Capitol rejected the album's release, and the album's release was delayed for 5 months.
Okay.
The other producer, Werner, decided to package the album with invert cover artwork, placing the parody cover as interior artwork. And then intended for interior artwork as a main sleeve out of fear of legal action. Zappa was angered over the decision. Later, the Sgt. Pepper parody was a stronger image than the final release cover. In recent years, the album has been reissued with the intended front cover. So, originally had a different album cover. This one was the inside sleeve. Later on,
so which one is this?
That's the cover they went with instead of the Sgt. Pepper's one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what they had to go with. They said, no, do the Sgt. Pepper cover. No, we better not. We'll get sued by the Beatles. Oh, my God. So they're going with that one.
I see.
All right, now some of the track listings here. Like I said, there's 19 tracks between the two sides, but it's less than 40 minutes. A lot of these are under a minute. It's a parody album, kind of like Sgt. Pepper's, where there's a lot of 30-second, minute 10, stuff like that stuff in there, okay? I won't go over the times on all these songs. I'll just go over the songs, and you can you have to hear it to get it yourself there. But here we go. Side 1. Are You Hung Up? 2. Who Needs the Peace Corps? 3. Concentration Moon. 4. Mom and Dad. 5. Telephone Conversation. That's one of those 48-second bits on there. Bow Tie Daddy. Harry, You're a Beast. Number 8. What's the ugliest part of your body? Number 9. Absolutely Free. Number 10. Flower Punk. Number 11. It's a 26-second song. I'm not making this stuff up. Number 11. Hot Poop. Do we have to put the Not Safe for Work title on this episode now because I said that?
Well, it's quite interesting.
I might get flagged for that one. I don't know. Side 2. Wait, we got a whole side 2 to go. Yeah, here. Don't stop there. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Nasal Music. Let's Make the Water Turn Black.
Okay.
The Idiot Bastard Son is song number 3.
Nice.
Lonely Little Girl. Take Your Clothes Off When You Dance. Number 6.
That's a family song.
Yes. Around the Christmas Tree. Number 6. What's the Ugliest Part of Your Body? The reprise version. Number 7. Mother People. Number 8. The Chrome-Plated Megaphone of Destiny. Yep. Can't make this up. Frank Zappa and his band for the Mothers, and a lot of these guys all stuck together for this band. A lot of them did Frank's solo stuff also. This album charted at number 30 on the Billboard 200.
Jeez.
I wanted to do a Frank Zappa album for this one, so I put in my Google machine. Best Frank Zappa album for a first timer, and this is the one that came up.
This was the result in the search result.
Yes. I highly suggest you check this out. Let's do it. It's 40 minutes. You will not regret it. You may not. You may be thankful you didn't pay money for it if you just listen to it on Spotify, but you won't regret it. It's one of those you might want to. You won't per se save, but you'll keep it in your back of your mind. It's just it's Frank Zappa and the humor in it. It's a parody album.
So it's like, is it kind of like a Spinal Tap version?
A Spinal Tap, Weird Al type parody thing going on. Yes.
Okay.
You'll listen to it. You'll take it seriously because the musical part is good. The guitars that are all good. Don't get me wrong. It's not sloppy you and me playing guitar music. It's
Talented
legitimate musicians.
musicians.
Kind of like Weird Al. They're legitimate musicians, good at their craft. You just gotta listen to the lyrics a couple, 3 times to go, what did he just say? Now, the album cover, if you look in there, and I don't know where it is on there, I read this in there. Oh, I see it now. Jimi Hendrix takes place in part of this.
Oh, on the far right.
Yep.
In the middle? Okay.
Yep. So Frank Zappa has always been outspoken, always been a good listen. Not a good, I don't believe everything Frank says. I don't agree with everything Frank says. He's out. I like he's outside the box on his thinking.
Yep.
Makes
good
you
First
think
Amendment
about,
guy. Yep.
yeah, he makes you think about a topic a little more. You may not agree with him. You may really go back to the way you thought, but now you have more bullets in your gun to defend yourself on what you thought. Because
Yep.
okay, no, you're wrong, Frank. Because of this, and this. Okay, now you've made your point stronger. Or Frank will make you go, God, I didn't think of it that way. You're right. So he makes you think. That's what I always appreciate about Frank Zappa, just listening to interviews or reading interviews with him.
He's a
Who am I
critical
kidding? Listening to interviews. I don't read things. And you got like a guy who names his kids Dweezil and Moon Unit.
Moon Unit and Dweezil. Yes.
And his daughter Moon Unit, that's got to be tough growing up with that name because everybody knows that's a boy's name.
It's obvious.
Yeah, and so she must have had a tough life growing up with a boy's name, but
well, that is good. I'm going to give it a listen. I did not listen to this this album. I'm going to do it. I have not purchased it or downloaded it, but I'm going to add it to my list here for my homework, Andy.
I think I'm going to make Hot Poop my ringtone.
Oh, imagine the ringtones from this album. I'm going to pick 26-second song.
Yeah, that's my ringtone. Every time Connie from the office texts me, it's going to play Hot Poop.
It's good. I mean, all these songs, 2 sides. It's only 40 minutes, which
30 minutes,
is the
39
best.
minutes and some seconds.
It's so good.
So as you're washing dishes, folding laundry, something like that, that's mindless anyway. Why not?
That's awesome. That is well. So I will do that. For those listening too, please leave your comments if you've had this or owned this before, or have thoughts on it or critique. This is one of the things we do, these oddball things. But
and what would be the next Frank Zappa album I should listen to after this?
Yeah. What should we do next? All right. Anything more on the album?
How do you follow this up? No, just again, it was fun late 60s Zappa stuff. You can go back to anything and listen to some of his interviews. This album kind of fits in that.
Acid rock, little LSD in the mix.
Yes. Not saying you should do LSD or acid before you listen to it, but keep that in mind.
Promoting that, but yeah, this was a song of the times. This was the album.
Yeah.
You kind of put everything together.
Kind of be in a relaxed, silly mood to appreciate it too.
Now, Andy, REO Speedwagon and Night Ranger will bring
Yes.
classic rock hits to Shields Arena. I don't have the date on this. Do you have the date? This
No,
is
I don't.
Mankato.
I just read about it today, how they're playing up there, coming up in the Fargo area there.
What is okay, Fargo?
Campus. That would be an awesome one to go to.
And this is how many of the original artists of the band members? Is this all?
Well, REO's changed members a lot, but from their last few albums, it's the same. And Night Ranger is all still together too from their heyday. They're all still pretty much there.
But if you go, this will be songs that everyone will know.
Yes.
I mean,
it's
going to be the classics.
It's going to be great. You will have a sore throat, sore voice the next day from singing along all night long.
Now, Slash, has announced a star-studded blues album called Orgy of the Damned, featuring Chris Stapleton, Brian Hart or Beth Hart, Brian Johnson, AC/DC, Gary Clark
Which
Jr.,
I just posted on Facebook before the show. That
Billy Gibbons, and many more. So what's your thoughts on this? I haven't heard of this.
I am very excited for this. Like I said, I posted the Brian Johnson one before the show tonight.
Okay.
This is on my if intern Abby's listening and wants to give me something for Father's Day. Wink, wink. Yes. Very excited for this one.
So it's a blues, all star-studded with blues. So it's kind of like what Dolly Parton did. It's not a double CD like hers with
Right.
all these different guest stars and stuff, but it's guest stars and it's blues and it's Slash is the guy behind it all. Good
But,
stuff.
but how many times we said hard rock? Blues is the heart of hard rock. So
It is, and the blues, as you see, I did an album review last, I think it was several months ago of Mad Season, and I went through and I listened to that album again, and it's really just blues. It's not grunge '90s,
yeah, it's
but
very
it's those guys performing blues songs in the mid '90s. It's very
yeah.
bluesy. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All these guys have this background, have a knack in getting into that eventually, so that does not surprise us. That's excellent. Now, speaking of Brian Johnson,
Yes.
Dire Straits, this is little Mark Knopfler, new
Yep.
docuseries. What's your thoughts on this?
This should be interesting because, like I've said before, Knopfler's a real perfectionist. His music's very good, Dire Straits stuff, and so is Brian Johnson from what he came back from, and then his hearing issues coming back, so he's kind of had to relearn to appreciate music, my opinion. But these two, I think, and someone said, here's a list of all the musicians in the 80s from rock and roll through heavy metal. Pick two to do a series together. This would have been the last two I picked. And not because there's a difference in them, just I would have never thought of these two having the same interest to do a show like this. First of all, I never thought either one would do a show like this, let alone the two of them do it together.
Yep.
So that should be very interesting. It's on Netflix, is it, or Apple TV, or one of those streaming services? So that for those of you who have the streaming services, record it for me and send it to me because I'm too cheap to pay for it.
Yeah, and that should be, a very interesting thing, a very interesting docu-series. Now, speaking of Dweezil,
There he is.
Zappa celebrate 50th anniversary of two classic albums on first tour since 2020. So this is Frank Zappa's son, Dweezil, getting out on the road here. Any
Now,
thoughts?
I've mentioned before on Extreme. In fact, today's the anniversary of their first album, but their that first album and also their second one, Flight of the Bumblebee, Dweezil Zappa plays that on there on the Extreme album. So that's putting him up right there with Betancourt, as he's not Betancourt's level, but that same type of guitar playing.
Wow.
So it's not going to be your bluesy Eric Clapton guitar or Mark Knopfler guitar. It's going to be more what you'd hear on Extreme or something like that. So,
okay.
Dweezil, very good artist. I do appreciate his music. If you look back at his criteria, his records, accolades, he's been on a lot of different albums with different artists. So, very talented man.
Awesome. That's all I've got here for upcoming local and upcoming shows.
Yes.
So that'll be the homework, is to listen to the Frank Zappa group, the 40 minutes, and then, like I said, Dweezil, good to listen to as well. That docu-series should be interesting. Lots of things. Anything else that you can think of? The Ace Frehley album is out doing well, I believe.
Judas Priest's new album is doing very well on the charts too. Their new one. So the old boys are still hitting it. Ace is hitting it. Priest is hitting it. They're still doing their thing. We do have coming up, like I said, kind of went a little off base here with the Frank Zappa stuff. We are thinking of we're doing a special for this spring on Mutt Lange. So instead of an album, we're going to do Mutt Lange stuff.
Robert Mutt Lange.
We might do Dweezil Zappa stuff. If there's any other suggestions, please let us know in the comments. Go, hey, this producer's done it, like Mutt Lange's producer, album producer, for those of you who don't know. So there's a producer who's done a lot of albums, go, hey, do one on this guy. Hey, this guy's done a lot of studio work for artists. Do a special on him.
We've never done a Desmond Child.
He is on my short list.
Okay.
Desmond Child, yeah, something like him.
When we're talking music on these episodes, these gentlemen, very prevalent in the music industry, although they're not a recording artist. They have very, very networked people, very popular gurus in the music scene. Robert Mutt Lange is, we could do a bonus episode on just his wives.
Yeah. Well, that'd be a two-parter.
No, there's 3 parts, I think.
Yeah, the Wise would be two parts, and his music would be the third.
Yes. So very, what's the word? Influential, I guess, as far
Yep.
as being
And Mutt Lange's another
everywhere
one
and
who's been
doing everything.
across the board on different music. Produced, he's done different albums for different people. He hasn't done just all rock. There's this country gal he kind of made famous, and he's done rock and roll albums and other heavy metal albums. And as you'll find out in the next couple weeks, oh, I can't help you with that album. Oh, wait, the band I'm with right now is in turmoil. I'll come do your album and get back to them later. He's done that. So, and he could, it's not one of those things where you could say he doesn't, he turns chicken shit into chicken salad.
He's
Okay.
on the back of most, 1980s and 90s cassettes and music albums. You'll see Mutt Lange on most everything that we listen to. And it's just amazing.
You grab any 5 albums, the next 5 songs they play on your favorite rock station, I guarantee he had something to do with at least one of them.
Yeah, it's unreal.
That's just the way it is.
Very good stuff. So we got a lot of good shows coming up, a lot of interviews with bands as well. But that's all I've got for this week.
All right. Give those suggestions to us in the comments below.
Have a good week.
Happy trails.
See ya.